understand that to deal with fear, it's not just about learning tools to handle problems. It's about gaining a support network. You can't do all of this alone. You need a couple people that can walk beside you and help you. So what are the tools? Again, I want to give you very general tools and some practical tools. Confront the problem. So when you feel fear being triggered, go, okay, what's going on here? I must feel a lack of resources. What do I feel the lack of resources is? Isolate, okay, this is the problem that's causing the fear. This is the situation. And then as you look at that, kind of dissect it and go, okay, here's my options. I need tools to handle this. I need help from somebody to handle this. But you can only do that if you're willing to confront the problem. And then instead of beating yourself up for being afraid, you're compassionate and curious to go, okay, what's going on here? Let me understand this. What then are my next steps to deal with this? Start to break it down. Some people find it helpful to go even a step farther, and that would be, what is causing this fear to be triggered? Yes, it's a problem today, but does it relate to something that happened in my childhood? Because this fear is feeling quite powerful, even more powerful than the situation today warrants. So maybe it's triggering something that hasn't healed from my past. So I need to go back and not just be curious about the present, but I need to be curious about, did something happen in my past to create this as a mega fear, to create this as an amplified situation, a wound that can get easily triggered, and begin to be willing to explore. And you may need to do that with a professional who can really help you do that. Then the next piece that is part of all of this is addressing the lies that develop because of fear in the early days. Address the lies that get triggered today and that you switch into thinking and believing without any evidence, but it's just based on all of that limbic brain reasoning. And so begin to stop when fear is happening and go, what am I believing right now? And what you usually find is, well, I'm actually believing this and this. And is that true? Well, it was true in my past when I was with unsafe people all the time, but it's not necessarily true today. Okay, what is the truth? And you begin to break down the lies and replace them with the truth. I think for many people, the hardest part of dealing with fear today is that when it's triggered, they escalate so quickly and so intensely. They go from 0 to 100, wanting to fight, flight, or freeze, wanting to lash out, wanting to go to old behaviors. The pull is powerful, it is quick, it is intense. To resist that. So they go to their limbic brain that gets fueled by cortisol, turbocharged. The train wants to leave the station with all the old strategies and patterns, and you're trying to stop that before it happens and go, whoa, let's get regulated. Let's get back to the cortex. We need to get grounded here. And those tools to do that, those are special tools. You can learn them. It's going to take some time. Be patient with yourself. But those are key tools to learn as to how to get regulated again when I'm dysregulated, how to get back to my cortex when I switch to my limbic brain. And then mindfulness to me is so important. So there's elements to this. Number one, mindfulness is doing an inventory. Where's my stress at? Where's my fear at? On an ongoing basis. So I have an understanding of if fear is building, whether it's at 2 or at 8, and what that does as far as making me vulnerable to being triggered. So you need that ongoing mindfulness and awareness. But then I need to learn that when fear is here, that it's okay to sit in it. I can resolve some of it. I can fix some of it, but I might be able to sit in some of it. It's not going to kill me. It's going to make me uncomfortable. Yes, but that's all right. I can deal with that. And so I can breathe through it. I can develop tools to sit in the fear without it driving me to irrational, unhealthy approaches. One of the things that I think is really helpful for people in recovery is to realize how powerful the fear of getting hurt is. And so deep, deep inside, subconsciously even, is I do not want to get hurt. I cannot get hurt. And so every time they go to use a new tool, it puts them into the unknown. It requires change, which puts them in the unknown. And that brings, I might get hurt because I don't know what to expect. Yes, you will get hurt. Being hurt to a child in complex trauma was the end of the world because there was no way of resolving it. Being hurt today with safe people is not the end of the world. It can lead to wonderful growth. It can lead to greater insights into yourself. And so do not let the fear of being hurt be the only controlling thing. Now, let me add this. If you are being hurt by unsafe people, you need to get out of there. I'm not talking about that kind of hurt. Because with hurt with unsafe people, you're back to hurts that you can't resolve because they're not willing to change. I am talking about being with safe people who are supportive and truly love you. Yes, you will get hurt as you grow with them, but it can be resolved. Now let me go into some more practical stuff. So as you go into recovery, you begin to go, I need to deal with my shame. I need to set boundaries. And you got all these wonderful, big, big steps that you need to take. Break them down into smaller steps. So you go, I need to deal with losses, or I need to set boundaries. Okay, let's take 2 little wee things to get me started in dealing with losses. It's not going to get me through all my losses, but at least get me started in manageable little steps. Okay, I need to set boundaries. What are the 2 little things that I can do? And so you break a great big step that can seem overwhelming and too much down into doable baby steps that get me started on the road. So what's the next thing that I can do to move me towards the goal of grieving this loss, of setting a boundary with this person? Part of dealing with fear is learning to focus on what you can control and realizing what you can't control. And so when you begin to realize, okay, here's a situation, a problem, here's what I can control, okay, I can do that. Here's what I can't control, okay, I got to sit in a little bit of unresolved fear here, but concentrate on the actionable steps. Now, some people have found it's helpful for them to reframe courage and kind of the fear that they're sitting in the terms of, wow, this is actually kind of excitement. I am making changes. So my heart is racing, the adrenaline is pumping. That's because I'm doing positive things. And so instead of just putting courage and fear in a negative, I'm dealing with all this negative stuff, blah, 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 just reframe it as I am taking action. This is exciting. That helps some people. Others find it very helpful when they're in that fear place and they're trying to go to courage to remind themselves of why. So don't just get hung up on the emotion. Go, I am doing this because if I don't set boundaries, I will not get healthy. I will remain in this relationship that keeps me sick. I am dealing with grief because if I don't deal with this grief. So you keep going back to the why, and that gives you extra motivation. Another very practical thing is fear is all about not feeling safe. Courage is I'm going to walk through the fear to get to safety. What many people find helpful is when I'm walking into the fear with courage, I need to create safety for myself in it. So I may be going to set boundaries with a person that could get angry. So before I set that boundary, I need to be able to kind of be safe in my own body, to be able to visualize being safe. I need to get to a safe place afterwards. So I'm working towards total safety, but I need to create safety for myself in the process. That is very important. Another thing is that people find it helpful often when they're building courage in the face of fear is to give themselves affirmation. So they stop and they go, right now I'm in a safe place and I am safe to feel my emotions. And they affirm it's okay to do that right now. I am making changes and it is safe for me to make these changes because I'm with safe people. So you're reminding yourself of truth that you are now living out. Others find it helpful to journal and have journal prompts. So they have every morning, what small brave step can I take today? And that just prompts them to think short term, to think courage, bravery. And then the final one is to celebrate the wins that you have. So you had fear triggered, you got the courage, you walked into the fear, did the right thing, and you came out the other side, and now celebrate it. And that just, again, confirms and helps that grow more and more in your life. So I never want to minimize how hard recovery is, how much fear it triggers, because it does. Like I say, fear is a constant companion in recovery. What I hope you realize is that courage is essential. There's practical ways to build it. There are things that I need to do in order to act on courage in the midst of fear. And I hope that this helps you do it.